This week on the show, it's a brand new show, but it's kind of the same show. We're talking through the top stories of the week and checking in with what we've been doing over the holiday break. It's time for Nerdigo News. Bruno, do the thing.
We're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
This better not awaken anything in me.
The name's Bond. James Bond.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
I'm responsible for my own happiness. I can't even be responsible for my own breakfast.
We have Santa Claus. Assemble.
Welcome to Nerdigo News. I'm Riley Trahan, and I am here, as always, with my co-host to break down the nerdy news and entertainment of the week. I am joined by senior film critic for Nerdigo News, Deepak Chitnis. Nerdigo
I'm
News.
open to suggestions on my witty catchphrase now that we're in our new era, so please send all suggestions to deepak@nerdigo.com.
Sponsorship opportunities available here. Bruno Meneses.
Happy New Year, everybody.
And like the voice out of the fog, it's Jackson Trahan.
Hello. Glad to be here.
Hey, we're here in the new year. We're over on Nerdigo News, but we're doing basically the same thing. I did want to let everybody know some of the stuff we have going on in the new year, kind of right around the same time this is coming out. You can also catch Deepak and I, joined by KB, talking about the sort of big end-of-the-year movies, things that stood out to us this year, movies and TV that we thought people should catch. So you can find that up on nerdigo.com. Also, we have the hype draft coming up. Deepak, Jack, and I circled up, and we all sort of drafted teams of the stuff we were most excited for in 2026. So you can watch that and then vote for who you think had the best team. We encourage you to do that. And coming up real soon, Jack and I are going to be previewing the Night of the Seven Kingdoms novellas. So the Hedge Knight, etc. I've been doing a lot of reading to prepare for that, so that's big for me, having to sound out the words and such. So make sure you join so that pays off for me, because otherwise I will have read books for nothing. Ew, gross, just for learning and literacy. Okay, I think that's all the housekeeping. If you miss any of that, or you want to make sure you don't miss any of it, you can head over to nerdigo.com or follow us on our socials, which I think is Nerdigo Media everywhere. I think it's just at Nerdigo Media, one word. I think I did it good this time.
Great.
So without further ado, let's get to the news. First up, Deepak, how's the box office going? Any exciting record-breaking type stuff happen lately?
Oh, just another December with a James Cameron movie about blue people that crosses $1 billion.
Tends to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it was really, really surprising the first time it happened, and then it was sort of surprising the second time it happened, and now it's just a matter of where it's going to stop. But I think we're past the point of wondering whether or not we're going to get a 4 and a 5. I think that's a foregone conclusion. It's just a matter of when we're going to get them and who's going to be bringing them to us.
And there's not really been any kind of drop-off, I feel like, is one of the crazier parts of how this Fire and Ash box office has gone, is it's really just sort of held week to week. I don't know, now that we're out of the holidays, if that will be over, right? Or if it'll continue to hold such a strong level.
That trend is consistent with what happened with the first and the second one, where it wasn't like a huge box office opening weekend followed by subsequent drops. It's kind of almost a low opening, steady, and you don't see the typical 50 to 60% drop-offs until way further down in its theatrical run. So I don't know if this one will hit 2 billion, but it's definitely going to get close, I think.
I was trying to think of something to compare it to, right? And it was sort of like, I do recognize that I get excited for trips to Pandora and all that. But like, just in terms of the box office success of it, right? There was, the Avengers movies, even if we just sort of self-contain like the Avengers proper movies to like their own franchise, quote unquote, right?
Four
like
of them, yeah.
Even those I don't know have had like this level of success financially. It is like, can you think of anything that you would say, oh yeah, it's kind of Avatar is on the same level as this? Or is it like now with $3 billion movies, is it just totally in its own league, do you think?
Frozen might be the only thing.
Oh, okay. Sure. Need a third for we'll get that live action one eventually, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, just in the sense that they've all grossed $1 billion plus.
Yeah.
But no, I think that it really is its own thing. I don't even think I mean, I know all the 7, 8, 9 grossed $1 billion plus, but they're coming on the backs of a huge franchise that was existed for 40 years before the new ones came out. So it's pretty crazy. Yep.
Jack, are you excited for Avatar 4? You signing up? Buying your ticket already?
I mean, sure.
For Avatar?
Is Mr. Cameron excited for Avatar 4?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
I think he's out. I think he's done.
It seems like he would like to be done. That certainly seems like it's the case. I don't know if I want like a him that isn't excited about them coming back to make 4 and 5, but I don't know.
Then we get James Mangold Indiana Jones. I don't know if that's
yeah.
Like I think it's fine, whatever. But
I think Polygon was plugging Chloe Zhao as the heir apparent. I'm not really sure I see that. Eternals was good. Don't get me wrong. Love sad angry robots.
Disney needs to make back its theme park money. So
that's the thing, Jack. Nobody ever talks about
one of the
those
directors.
robots.
Sorry, one of the directors whose big thing is natural lighting is now being touted as the heir apparent for Avatar.
It was one op-ed I saw, but yeah, that's what they were saying was they really needed to get Chloe Zhao in there for the Avatar pictures.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm a Zhao fan, but I don't see it.
No, I'm saying Guillermo knows the story. Feels sad for people who don't look like him.
That story you told was great.
Guillermo's been making the same movie for maybe 15 years now. I think I'm done with Guillermo.
Bruno, thoughts on the Avatar billion?
I mean, like, I'm kind of like with Deepak that it's just like it's not affecting me at this point. I have like spoken about it before in our Discord that like at this point I'm kind of I don't really care what direction they take the franchise. If they do make more movies, great for them.
Save
if
the
James
franchise.
Cameron decides to make different movies, great for him. Like I'm happy with whatever happens.
You don't have to see the Na'vi come to Earth. That's supposedly 5. Is supposedly the Na'vi come to Earth. You're not clamoring with the.
I don't know because like I mean spoilers for Fire and Ash, but like it was okay. It was a bit of a retread from the previous movie. It to me just like added to the fatigue for the franchise. Yes. And when it came to the big Awa thing, it was just 2001: Space Odyssey. That's what it was.
It was the end of Titanic, actually, is what it was.
It was just all of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
It was the old lady dying at the end, and all the guests on the ship greeting her into the afterlife. And at the end, for some reason, there's Sigourney Weaver.
I don't know that he's really beating the retread allegations. I certainly think that's true. I'm curious what 4 and 5 would look like if he did them. I'm not sure how interested I am in Avatar without him. But yeah, I don't know. I worry it just turns into Terminator, right? Where like we've just watched all these people not be able to make a Terminator movie ever since James Cameron walked away. And that seemed like a much more reliable premise than
Isn't one of the options he talked about was walking back to Terminator?
He's already threatening that his next project might be Terminator related. So
we will see. Watch this space. Well, speaking of voting with your dollars, if you guys do want to throw your support behind something, this Muppet Show revival that is coming to Disney Plus is looking more and more like a test balloon for a Muppet Show return. It is slated for a February 4th, 2026 special that will air on Disney Plus and ABC. We're getting Sabrina Carpenter as the guest star. And this special coincides with the 50th anniversary of the original run of the show, which, of course, had so many great guest stars in it over the years. We talked about that a little bit a couple weeks ago, actually, just because I was, as I often am, taste taking and yeah, just watching the Muppets. So what do you guys think? I mean, I guess the big thing was this new trailer. They sort of make a joke that, like, this might be the only thing, or this might be a comeback, depending on how many people will actually watch this thing. Which is a good Muppets joke, regardless of whether or not it's true. But what are you guys thinking about this Muppet special? Where are your heads and hearts at with it all?
I love those fuzzy little guys.
I mean, I'll definitely tune in. I'm happy to see like that they're still like trying for new stuff, and I'm happy to see that they're like also branching out with bringing in people like Sabrina Carpenter. Like they understand the whole joke.
Seems great. When do we get Marty Supreme host?
Got to appeal to the youths,
because I feel like they did characters as well as actors before, and that would be funnier.
Sure. I would be interested to see what that looks like.
They kind of dipped their toe into that with the Benoit Blanc special, I guess, although he wasn't human.
How was that? Did that already come out?
I didn't watch it. Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just like one sketch or whatever.
Yeah,
but it was pretty funny.
Yeah, I just saw the clip for it. I have no idea what it was.
Yeah, he was just Ben Walsh just showed up on Sesame Street to try and help everybody figure out what happened to a pie.
Oh, that's nice.
He ate it. Was what happened.
Spoilers.
Well,
Wow.
I mean, everybody, it was sort of a murder on the Orient Express situation with this pie. But yeah, no, I think it is interesting to me that Disney is letting Seth Rogen be the guy that potentially brings back the Muppets. Right? He does seem like he has a lot of clout right now to kind of get whatever he wants done. I don't know where his Ninja Turtles stands in like the new Skydance era of Paramount. I don't know how many more of those cool woke Ninja Turtle movies he's going to get to make or whatever. Transitioning to Muppets might be what he sees as his future, and it would be interesting to me if like Seth Rogen's in his Disney era now.
Damn, now I just want an episode of the studio where he needs to run like a Muppet show.
Just an episode of the studio with Kermit as a guest star, and nobody questions the veracity of it at all.
He's like a real asshole behind sight.
Don't look at me. Deepak, you're gonna have to help me with the details of this, but I saw that One Battle After Another was like one of only a couple movies in history to now have received all of these different, like 4 different critics group awards, all in the same year.
The National Society of Film Critics, and then I believe it's the trifecta of New York, LA, and Chicago Film Critics Societies, or Critics' Choice.
Yeah,
none of those people have ever given me a single award.
So the New York Film Critics Circle, the Los Angeles Film Critics Circle, the National Board of Review, and the National Society of Film Critics.
Gotcha.
All awarded One Battle After Another. And I guess the only other 3 times this has happened in history was The Social Network, LA Confidential, and Schindler's List. So
only one of
Deepak,
which actually won Best
It's
Picture.
a weird,
weird
series.
That's what I was going to say. Do we take this as a curse that One Battle After Another will be the perennial, like, oh, weird that didn't win Best Picture?
Yeah, there's always a chance of that, especially when something emerges as a front runner so early, which is what happened with The Social Network. Especially that it fizzles and then something else comes up, like The King's Speech, or
also what happened with LA Confidential.
Yeah, then speaking of Cameron. But I'm looking at the scores because they do have like a point system for the National Society of Film Critics, which is what is the most recent one that gave One Battle After Another Best Picture, and it was 57 points. The next runner-up was Sinners with 29 and The Secret Agent with 27, so it's pretty emphatic. Director is closer. Anderson won with 54 points, but Jafar Panahi for It Was Just an Accident had 48. And Richard Linklater for both his releases, Blue Moon and Nouvelle Vague, was 39. Actress with Kathleen Chalfant for Familiar Touch. I'm not familiar with that. But Rose Byrne and Renata Reinsve were the runners-up. Best Actor, Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. Runners-up were Wagner Moura, Secret Agent, and Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. Going back to One Battle After Another, it also won Supporting Actress and Supporting Actor for Tiana Taylor and Few Small Beers, respectively. And yeah, I mean, we have best foreign language is The Secret Agent, Bruno. Best cinematography, Sinners. Screenplay, It Was Just an Accident. I'm seeing a lot more love for the Richard Linklater duo of movies, especially Blue Moon, and the idea of it potentially being an Ethan Hawke overdue year, especially seeing that he won here. I'm not ready to throw my money behind that horse yet, but it's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
That's an interesting. Him as a spoiler would be interesting. I was trying to think of what like the best picture spoiler could be. Sort of taking your advice that One Battle After Another may have been a front runner for too long, but I do sort of still wonder what the Sinners spoiler potential is. I think Michael B. Jordan seems like he's really running a sincere campaign against DiCaprio and Chalamet, and I think any of the 3 of them, if they have the backing of the studios, could be like serious contenders for that award. So that just seems crowded as is. But yeah, I mean, that's fine. Let's get more guys in there.
The genre aspect of it is either going to really hurt it or really help it with the new Academy and how it's younger and a little more diverse. DiCaprio having already won, I don't know if he's really as big a front runner. And Chalamet, of course, it's going to be even though he's so young, it's almost an overdue at this point. I do think Sinners has spoiler potential in some of the technical categories, like cinematography is going to be between Sinners and One Battle, and Sinners could end up winning that. Editing is also in the mix. Score is a big one that I think they're going to go toe-to-toe on. Sound is also going to be one of those as well. So the technical categories, I think Sinners does definitely have upset potential. When we go above the line towards like acting, directing, picture, I think the Academy is probably going to steer more towards One Battle After Another than Sinners. But again, like you said, or even I said, there could be a spoiler that we're not even really considering yet.
Sure.
Right.
Wait for Golden Globes or whatever to come out.
I was going to ask, what sort of precursor awards do you wait for to see? Oh, this will be, indicative of what actually has a good chance of winning on at the Academy Awards.
It's none of them are really. I mean, it's like it's per category, right? Like SAG is usually really good for the actors, and Golden Globe is usually really good for. There's a spoiler potential for an actor or a movie, like the year Parasite won, but 1917 took the Globe, and people were like, "Oh, I didn't realize 1917 was that good of a movie," and it started its sort of run into being the 1917 versus Parasite year. So it depends on what category we're looking for. For picture, I would look at BAFTA. I would look at some more of the critics' choices that are going to come out. But One Battle After Another has been pretty consistent. It feels sort of like the movie of the moment, but we've had those before where they didn't pan out, so we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Next in our roundup, I wanted to just give a little bit of time for us to talk about this sort of number that had been floating around from a Deadline piece that apparently Netflix is eyeing a 17-day theatrical window for their future Warner Brothers projects. Now, that was sort of like, there was a rumor that unnamed sources said, right? So it's not like it's, an official thing that they've announced. But people certainly reacted to it online as if it was like the official word going out that movies were going to be in theaters for just a little over 2 weeks. I don't know how surprised I was. I'm curious what all y'all's reactions to that news were. Just because that sounds like it's how long Netflix keeps things in movie theaters now. I'm like sort of maybe nonplussed by that because it sounded pretty standard to me.
In fact, I think in some cases it might be longer than some of the movies Netflix puts out.
Sure, 17 might be luxurious for some.
This didn't surprise me because when we had this conversation initially about a month ago when all this started, I think the vision of this going forward is that Netflix/Warner Brothers movies are going to be put in theaters for a limited amount of time for the people who want to see it in theaters to see it that way. We talked about how Netflix and the other streamers are going to start consolidating the actual physical theater locations, whether it's Cinemark, Regal, AMC. Start buying those up, and you'll have your Netflix theater in town or in your general metropolitan area where you'll go to watch Frankenstein or whatever. But you'll have that exclusive window of 17 days is too short, but the theaters want 45 is what that report said. 45 and 17, you split the difference. It ends up being about 4 weeks or like a month if that's what you end up doing and make it like a nice round number.
Sure.
That's probably where this is headed.
It also seems like it probably turns into a case-by-case thing, right? Like it's not as if you have every movie comes out and this is how long it's allowed to be in theaters, and then we pull it no matter what, even if it's still making a ton of money.
If something,
Superman gets
if something is still
than...
making money, they're gonna not turn the spigot off. But what they may, I guess, then they'll have to recalibrate whether or not they're still going to drop it on streaming on the day that they said they were going to drop it on streaming.
Right,
kicking that can down the road and antagonize that base of customers, which is still a bigger base of customers than the customers that are going to the theater to see this.
Let's stay on this for a second, though, because I do kind of want to get into the kind of strategy of it. We've talked before about when Netflix puts a movie into theaters, right? The Irishman or whatever. No, let's use a more contemporary example. Wake Up Dead Man. Yeah, indeed. That is not really like they're not doing that to make money. Right, they will turn some margin of profit.
They're humoring
off of
Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, right. It goes in there because Ryan Johnson wants it in theaters for a little while, and because it works nicely for Netflix. If you, the Netflix subscriber, has friends out there, like if your movie-going friend was like, "Oh, I saw Knives Out, it's really good," right? That's helpful to them. It like reminds you to engage with the app. it's a little the people who see it in theaters become the little Netflix ad buzzing around, going, "Hey, Netflix spoilers, Netflix spoilers." I'm curious how they treat the Warner Brothers movies and like the HBO app interface, right? Like, I don't think HBO becomes a tab in Netflix, right? I think it probably remains its own thing by and large.
It's probably going to be the way Disney Plus does Hulu and ESPN, where they
Right.
sort of cross pollinate a little bit.
Okay.
But they're distinct services that you can bundle if you want to take that option, which I'm sure they'll provide.
I just wonder how much like the branding of it comes into, like a Netflix movie is in theaters for 7 days or whatever, but a Warner Brothers movie, I wonder if they have a different sort of business expectation around how long they want to have that out there and why it's helpful to them. If they actually see that as more of a money-making venture than something like Knives Out.
Well, when they acquire Warner Brothers, they're going to acquire contracts for things that are in flight. So if, say, for example, Sinners was due to come out this April or next April, it would probably have been written into the contract that Sinners is going to. So some of these will be grandfathered into certain windows. What I will be curious to see is as this continues to mature, and as I think we're going to see more of this happen as far as the consolidation of studios and theater chains and all that, are we as consumers going to get used to a certain grammar of this movie's from this studio, it's only going to be in theaters for this long, and I have to go to this place to see it. Like Knives Out 4 is Netflix. I have 4 weeks to see it at the Alamo, whatever.
Yeah,
and I think that's the conditioning that we're going to start to see rolling forward. Is Amazon is an absolute no. Netflix will do it begrudgingly, and the rest of them kind of don't exist anymore.
Yeah. We will continue to monitor the streaming wars as they continue.
On a happy note.
Yeah, right. Seriously. Well, and speaking of which, our last piece of news in the roundup this week is that so we talked about a year ago that Diamond Distribution, the company that had for a long time been the main retail or sort of middleman for comics publishers getting local comic book shops books, had declared bankruptcy, and as of December 31st, they have officially closed their doors and are out of business. They had bounced around a little bit like sort of companies in bankruptcy tend to do, seeing if they could hold on. At this point, most other comic book shops and publishers have sort of found other means of getting in touch with each other and getting those books delivered. We've talked all about the sort of weirdness of DC delivering their books on Tuesdays and all that in the past. So this is kind of like the final, just death rattle of that story that we've been tracking for a long time. But I did just want to flag it for everybody that it is sort of insane that Diamond Distribution, a company that for a long time was the only way you could get comic books to a local retailer in America, is now no longer a company. Monopolies, man. I guess they come and go.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's not a lot else to say. Bruno, do you have any thoughts on the death of Diamond Distribution? A weird thing.
It's I mean, like you kind of said it all. The like editor-in-chief like made a big post about it on their like Diamond Daily for like all of the employees to see, just giving a big farewell. But yeah, I mean, it's a little bit sad to see it go. It's interesting to see like how the industry goes from here, because like online reading is only getting bigger and bigger now, and it's only adding to the devalorization of physical comics. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried, but we'll see.
Yeah, we should definitely, we have comic book check-ins planned. This month, I think Bruno and I are going to be talking about the Energon universe, checking in with everything going on there. But we have comic book check-ins planned throughout the year, and we should talk about some of the weird stuff that's going on in like the changing in formats and how people are like what types of books the publishers are prioritizing, and how you're now like these weird little mini like 3-issue trade paperbacks that DC sells are like, it's all very strange to me these days, but we should check in on all of it. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, I think I'm talking about the hostile takeovers.
Oh, fun.
Oh, we're going to break that down.
All right, everybody good? Anybody need a break?
New.
All right, we'll charge right in. All right, so we were talking on our chat a couple weeks ago, sort of just as the news was going on, about hostile takeovers, and we thought it would be helpful to talk about them, right? Because of the Paramount thing. Deepak, can you give me a little setup here while I pull up just some sources I want to have access to while we talk about this?
Sure. Yeah. So this goes back to what we were just talking about before the break, where Netflix is going to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery for, I believe, something like $30 a share, or $37 a share. So it ends up being something like $70 or $80 billion acquisition. This is in spite of the fact that there were competing offers from Comcast, which fell to the wayside pretty quickly, and Paramount. Paramount is interested in not only Warner Brothers Discovery for its movies and streaming, which is what Netflix is also interested in, but Paramount also wants the news and TV assets that Warner Brothers possesses, which includes CNN, among other things. Netflix, if it were to acquire Warner Brothers, which of course looks like it's going to be the case, those companies would get spun off, or rather those channels, those assets would get spun off into a separate company that presumably, and Riley, this is where I get a little confused. Yeah. If that's going to happen, why can't Paramount just acquire the spun off company and still get the news channels?
They can. We're in two different lanes now. So their problem, why they want to initiate this hostile takeover thing, is that if Netflix gets to go first, then theoretically they have, and theoretically, right? We live in 2026 in America, so who knows? But at least hypothetically, they would have to wait for like Netflix and Warner Discovery to go through all of their like anti-monopoly arbitration, which could take, a year and a half, 2 years or whatever. And as you rightly pointed out, like the thing David Ellison is interested in is CNN as a cable network, right? Like he wants to get his hands on that shit, so that he can start like programming the way Americans think about politics before we get to the election cycle. So if he's working with that as a time frame, he doesn't feel like he has the time for Soros.
Sarandos?
He doesn't feel like he has the time for Ted Sarandos and them to mix it up in court. He wants to get to his stuff now. I think that's the big problem that he sees.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. But so then, because of that, they had made this offer of, they had sort of proffered a hostile takeover of the business. And we were chatting a little bit about how that works. And I'm, of course, always working on my big mysterious Disney project that eventually we'll start talking about more on this channel. This year could be the year. Subscribe, nerdigo.com. You don't want to miss it. That'd be embarrassing. So Disney was sort of the subject of a hostile takeover in the 80s. This guy named Saul Steinberg, who was like well known as just a corporate raider in the 80s, was making moves to take over Disney in similar ways to what the Ellisons were trying to do with Paramount and Warner Brothers Discovery. So I thought I'd kind of talked through both of them in parallel to sort of give some insight into like what the key factors are in a hostile takeover and how this was theoretically going to work, despite the fact that it seems to have been largely dismissed at this point. So Ellison and company were putting out their own offer for shares of stock in Warner Brothers Discovery, right? And they kind of put out a statement to all shareholders that they would offer $30 a share for a stock that was basically valued at like $27.75, right? And so their argument was that you, an individual stockholder of Warner Brothers Discovery, could sell to David Ellison and make, $2.50, $3 a share over whatever, you had made just by acquiring the stock, right? Maybe you had bought it for $7. So you're already making like 22, and then he'll throw on his extra 250 or whatever because he likes you and he wants you to get a fair deal. That's sort of his position.
Sure.
In reality, if he can acquire enough of this stock, he now owns the company. So it doesn't matter if Warner Brothers Discovery and David Zaslav and all of them want to sell to him or not, right? That group might feel very comfortable with the offer that they've been given by Netflix. They might not want to go into business with Ellison for any number of reasons. They might not think that the company that just bought Paramount could get through a monopoly conversation of after buying Warner Brothers Discovery. There might be any number of reasons why they might not want to sell to them. But this sort of acquisition of stock to a critical mass is like sort of this end around maneuver that they can try and pull. when Saul Steinberg did it for Disney, it was basically the exact same thing. And this is how Disney gets involved with the folks who are now their biggest shareholders, whose names are escaping me for a second. But give me 20 seconds and I can pull it up. Oh my gosh, I know these dinkuses so well. Deepak, they're those Texas businessmen that we heard about for so long.
Redstone.
No. Regardless, I'll
Jones. Jerry Jones.
Oh, that'd be funny if it was Jerry Jones. Regardless. The point is, you need to go find a big, rich, expensive guy who can take care of you, right? You need, and they call this a white knight in like the financial spaces. You need to find a white knight who will like buy enough of your stock and not refuse to sell it no matter what. So I don't know if, like, I don't know what's happening right now that has made Warner Brothers Discovery feel like they are secure of this not being an issue for them anymore. I know that Paramount sort of disputed their general shareholder statement. Like, there was definitely some scuttlebutt in public, but it seems like maybe it's just not happening. I don't know. Maybe there was an SEC filing or something. To be honest, I haven't super kept up over Christmas. But anyway, that's kind of a basic primer for what happens when you're trying to do a hostile takeover.
Thanks, Riley.
Did you guys want to dig into any of that or whatever?
Or you know.
Yeah, ba 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 ba. Yeah, isn't it fun that this is what we get to talk about sometimes?
Yeah, I don't know what more there is to say until we get a little more movement on either the Netflix or the Paramount side. But Netflix has also been buying up a ton of studio space. It looks like they're doing things that are in tandem with the acquisition. They wouldn't be doing those, I think, if they weren't confident that this was going through. So I don't know what more there is to say really right now.
It was the Bass family. It was Sid Bass is who I was trying to think of.
Of
course. Sydney.
Yeah, he's some billionaire, but I feel like he was he's like a producer, I feel like, on Disney movies or whatever, because maybe he was more of a Parks guy. I don't know. I feel like I was always hearing his name someplace. Anyway, that's my dumb personal bullshit. When we get back, some of Jack's.
Huzzah.
Jackson, what you been getting up to over the breaks?
Yeah, so I did want to take a moment to yell about this event that's going on. I usually put it in my pop culture recommendations whenever it comes up. Bruno, I've shown it to you before also in our personal lives. But it is early January, which means it's time for Games Done Quick, which is a series of speedrunning events that go on biannually for Awesome Games Done Quick and then Summer Games Done Quick. It is a speedrunning charity event, and I like to support it. It used to actually be held very close to us in like real meat space, which is how I first learned about it. Since then, it's moved around a lot. But every year, they show off a lot of really crazy speedrunning talent, and they raise millions of dollars for charity. So this year, it's obviously only just started. I wanted to shout it out now so that people would hopefully have a chance to actually tune in live, which is, I think, the most fun way to do it. But even if you can't catch a game that you might know or recognize live, you can always tune in. Most of the runs get posted to YouTube pretty quickly afterwards. The event is 24/7, so there's always something going on. And I'm always a big fan of the people who show up in the live audience at like 3 a.m. and whatever local time. I think this year it's in Pittsburgh, so it is Eastern time still. But I also wanted to highlight some of the insane shit people are doing this year. While admittedly,
it goes on all week, so as people are hearing this, they'll be able to find all the schedules and everything at the website.
Last year, I remember there were a few events of people like playing games with physical instruments, like playing Super Mario 64 on a real drum kit. It was a memorable one. Unfortunately, there's nothing that insane that I've noticed this year. But there are some pretty good ones. Someone is going to be playing through Super Mario World in a ROM hack where the whole game is mirrored horizontally so that they have to play backwards. And then after that, they're also going to play it again using only one hand, both of which should be exciting. Riley, for you, there's going to be a Luigi's Mansion playthrough. We just recently had a personal experience playing through Luigi's Mansion again after they added it to the Nintendo Switch Online. I think we got inspired.
We did.
So you can go watch someone beat that game faster than you could imagine.
Yep. At 9:44 p.m. I just like how it's sort of like a train schedule because of like how down to the minute
yeah, well, they got to keep it going.
Yeah.
They're playing the new Pokemon game, which I don't think has been run before because it's so new, as well as the new Mario Kart game. I'm very excited personally for the Metal Gear Solid runs, which I always think are crazy because I'm terrible at those games. So watching people who are really good is very impressive. There's a race in American Truck Simulator. If you want to see who can operate a 16-wheel truck more quickly without possibly endangering real citizens on real roads, this is the best you can probably get. Here, I can send you guys the schedule also. And you can let me know if there's anything that stands out to you. It sounds like Riley's already found it.
Yeah, I do like some of these sometimes only because, some like I don't know what egg is. But I like
egg
I like that at 3:43 a.m. somebody's speedrun an egg.
Yeah, all nests run. It'll take apparently 15 minutes. That is in the middle of the awful block where they play intentionally terrible video games.
Oh, okay.
So not to disparage the game Egg. But maybe it's not the highest quality thing that humanity's ever produced.
Sure. Fair enough.
I think the longest run this year is Twilight Princess, which is estimated at 4 hours of straight gameplay, which will be ludicrous. And of course, how could I forget? There's going to be an Expedition 33 run, which is, I believe, the first time that it will be run.
Well, and I noticed that Donkey Kong
notable
Bonanza,
game of the year.
Donkey Kong Bonanza is getting a run. Just again, if you
Donkey Kong Bonanza is a bonus game, so people are gonna have to donate a lot of money.
Oh well, people better donate
for them to play it.
I want to see that
on the schedule.
We'll toss the donation link in the show notes here, so you can get to it. You better donate because I want to see him play
this
Donkey
year.
Kong Bonanza.
And every Awesome Games Done Quick goes to the Prevent Cancer Foundation, which
hate the stuff.
I'm not a fan of cancer. And clearly these people are like very experienced at this by now. They've been running a charity event twice a year for over a decade, so they know how to like set these incentives. But it always feels like they're so close to not meeting these incentives every time.
Sure, yeah.
So that's like I said, I think it's best to watch live because there is a lot of drama to it when you can't just skip ahead to the interesting bits.
Now, Jack, it's 6:25 after we get off this recording here, is something that I noticed titled Lorwo Oriam Rescue.
Yeah, that's the reverse Super Mario World, I think. I think they wrote it backwards.
Well, yeah, no, I did catch on that maybe that was what it was. But I was asking, so they're going to be playing it backwards? Is that what they do there?
Yeah, I believe the idea is that the whole ROM has been modified so that all of the game is horizontally flipped, and the guy's going to have to do all of the levels like that.
Very cool.
Which I imagine if you're the type of person who has, I don't know, played a game so much you have it basically memorized.
Yeah, right. Totally.
That's a tricky thing to rewire your brain to do.
The way you keep it interesting. Well, definitely make sure everybody gets over there. Like I said, we'll put the link to the schedule and the donation page and their YouTube stuff in case you don't have it. All in our show notes so that people can check it out because it's going to be running all week after this episode comes out. And if you find us talking about the bullshit or whatever to be entertaining, you should see what these wackios get up to because that's really fun. Jack,
Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time race. I guess they're racing the two different games. I don't know how that works.
That's fun. I like that. See, but this is the kind of crazy stuff they come up with. You always come to us with this every year, and you're like, "Hey, listen up. This guy's gonna be beating Mario Kart with an oboe." And I'm like,
Bruno, 3 people are gonna be speedrunning Night Rain, the Elden Ring multiplayer game.
Oh, that's gonna be nice. That's gonna be.
I'm
cool.
sure like 3-person Dark Souls strategy is gonna go crazy. Yeah, it just I love to just have this event on, kind of in the background on whatever screen I happen to be looking at, and then you can tune in every now and then and just see people doing the craziest shit you've ever seen.
Very good. All right. When we return, we have some very serious business to attend to. So stick around. All right.
Didn't know it was a serious show now.
Yeah, well, this is the serious part of the show. Eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed that we have some new branding going on. We're here at nerdigo.com. We are at our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@nerdigo media. We're at Nerdigo media all over on the socials and all that. And that has come with our new little guy.
With a guy.
With our great little guy. And we need to come up with a name for him.
We didn't ask for this guy.
No, he just he came with the new name, and we feel responsible for him.
Now we're responsible for him, yeah, with great
He
power.
won't leave. I'm kind of tired of it.
We've grown fond of him.
So let's start off. Does anybody have any like obvious nerdy pop culture? We could call him Spider-Man, for example. I think that's probably a bad one.
I don't think we can legally maybe call him Spider-Man.
Well, we can call him Spider-Man legally without the hyphen. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna tuck that one.
It's just his surname. He's John
Ned,
Spider-Man.
He's Ned Spider-Man. Yeah. Okay. So no on that. Any other ones? Luke.
Yeah. Well, it's not my favorite. That's interesting though. I mean, obviously, I am tempted to make his name start with an N. I don't know why.
I do. That's fair.
My name doesn't start with an I or whatever.
Whoa. Does it always have? Does it need to start with an N? Because he's not always on the end though.
Not always on the end. That is fair.
Instead of starting with an N, can it rhyme with nerd? Can it just be like Bert the Nerd?
Sorry.
Is there any names that rhyme with nerd?
I really need a minute to recover from Jack proposing that his body is
human bodies are shaped like the
I.
letter I. I don't know what they're more shaped like. If you have a better suggestion, please feel free.
The idea that you'd be like, yeah, well, I'm not shaped like an I, or I'm not. My name doesn't start with I, and you're absolutely correct. It doesn't. I think the playing on the nerd motif is good. I like that. Yeah, something like Bert.
Bert the Nerd.
Bird.
What did we call that slug
Nerd is
from
the
the
word.
bad Star Wars movie?
Oh, Shlomo? No. What do we?
No, he had a much more conventional name than that. It was like Clyde or something.
Oh, Claude.
Claude.
That's one of the AIs now.
Well, yeah, okay, so we can't use that.
Somebody already made that a digital name.
I was just trying to revisit some of the stuff we had named in the past. Bruno,
I like it.
Bruno, if I asked you to identify what character from the Star Wars universe we named Claude, do you think you could summon him up using the Google? I'll give you a hint. He's in Rise of Skywalker.
He's not Oscar Isaac.
He's not Oscar Isaac. That's another good hint.
Is it the little like?
No, already wrong.
Okay.
Not little. Claude's a big guy.
Here. I'm gonna drop it into our podcast chat feed here, and I'm narrowing it down to 2 guys for you, and you can guess which one.
you can. I know exactly what photo you're gonna send.
One of these 2 guys.
One of these guys is not only in episode 9, so
That's
true. That's true.
I don't even remember this being in the movie.
Might not remember.
That's because you don't remember a lot about that movie.
Yeah, but our man was in it. I don't know what his real name was. And Claude was a good name for him. So I don't know. Yeah, do we want to go down the Claude route? Do we want to go something more non-traditional? Maybe or alien even. I don't know. These are all questions we should be asking.
Babu's Frick.
We should. I don't know if we're allowed to call him Babu Frick. So you said the thing about Spider-Man earlier.
Yeah, but nobody remembers Babu.
He's gonna be.
You can probably sneak that one in.
Babu Frick
Fewer
is gonna
people
be
know
in-
Babu.
He's gonna be in
know
Mandalorian.
Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you think? Actually, hold on. Do you think? Maybe it's just.
So.
I think it's just because
I
you're
feel
wrong.
like Marvel executives are going to be right cheesed off if that's not the case.
Maybe if we just interviewed like a bunch of Gen Alpha kids, they'd all be like, "No, Babu Frick for life." Spider who?
Yeah, right.
Oh, you
These
mean
are the
Miles
same
Morales?
kids would say the Disney logo is Lilo or Stitch. So
Well, this is
That's
true.
true.
There's
Yeah.
all this future coming for all of us soon. And I'm just gonna do some N names: Ned, Nathan, Nandri,
Navi.
Navi,
Nandry.
Neytiri.
Hold on.
Henry's not a human name. Nick Fury. We can't keep just saying names of things that exist in pop culture.
Nedry.
Can't-
Dennis Nedry.
Dennis. Nedry. We can't call the character. We can't call our logo Neytiri. That's probably rude. That's a good point.
Probably not allowed.
What if I just Google names? I'm gonna use the AI actually. Give me funny names that start with N.
Oh, great. We're asking the AI.
Be
now.
useful.
Oh, it doesn't even. Just
Didn't
bring me
even
up to
try.
a Reddit thread. Okay. Do we want to do like? Do we feel any particular way about the gender of this little guy?
Now we're getting somewhere. That's what we got to talk about.
Speak on it, Jackson.
He's metal. Is he metal?
Is he metal?
Because then I guess he would be Pan.
Oh, hello.
I mean, we have only referred to him as a little guy.
We have. Well, this is sort of what I was getting at. If I bring in names like Nate or Nick or Noah or Nico, are we okay there?
It's a bad year for Nico.
I like Nico.
You like Nico?
It's a
It's
bad.
genuinely my favorite of the ones we've said, probably, yeah.
I don't
What
mind
about
it.
what about Nerdo?
Nerdo is more brand aware
Yeah.
and sort of it
Norbit.
sounds like he's maybe Club Shidow's cousin.
Yes, it does.
Nico Nerdo. I don't know.
What was Jimmy Stewart's character's name in Vertigo?
Oh. Damn it. It's his. It's Scotty, I think.
Yeah.
That's his last.
That's not helpful. Ferguson was his last name. Nerdison. No.
Nerdison.
It sounds like
Nerd.
medicine.
Nerdison. Take your Nerdison.
Take your... Wait, can we change the branding real
Hold on,
quick?
Stop everything. Turn it all down. Stop.
Gotta take your Nerdison.
Nerd is sin.
Oh,
Whoa.
after dark.
Detour.
I feel like we're not making progress.
Marty.
No, I think
Just
we're
just
getting
call
there.
him Marty. Why does he have to just? We're all.
I like
feeling
that.
Marty right now.
Marty?
Sure.
It's called the little guy Marty.
Yeah. Everyone's favorite movie this year?
I haven't
Oh,
seen
I
it
was-
yet, but it may be.
I was
Eventually.
thinking actually like Back to the Future.
Yeah, I was also
Genuinely.
thinking like the McFly, not like the Supreme.
What if we call him McFly Supreme?
McFly is
Supreme McFly.
Don't order the McFly Supreme, whatever you do.
Ugh.
Give you horrible indigestion.
It's the sauce is really the problem on the McFly Supreme. Everything else is, if you get it separately, it'll be okay. I think we can work with Marty. Hey, if you think you can come up with a better name than
Is
Marty.
any of that good?
Yeah.
Hey,
Is this anything?
There's not a lot of news happening, guys. I mean, it's sad. The stuff that's happening
we're
is really
making
not
the
lame.
news.
So yeah,
What's more newsworthy than the Nerdigo rebranding? I ask you in nerdy news.
specifically in the circle of
I'm
stuff.
not-
we
Yep,
usually-
I'm not
That was
talking
a really
about
good way to
anything
finish that sentence.
Yeah, if you can think of a better one, hit us up. Riley@nerdigo.com. Or you can get us on social media @Nerdigo Media. Let us know what you think this little guy, I'm sure he's somewhere, should be called. He's in the background.
He's all over them.
He's popped up a couple times already.
You've seen this man.
When we get back,
You've
pop
seen
culture
this
recommendations.
Now you have.
Alrighty. Before we get out of here, we're gonna hit you with some pop culture recommendations. But first, any other housekeeping stuff we want to do, stuff we want to make sure people know is coming. We have Miami Vice coming soon. More details TBD. watch this space. We are going to be doing. Oh, Jack, we should mention that we're doing our live Game of Thrones talkbacks.
Yeah.
After shows. We're coming for the Chris Hardwick throne. We're gonna be the show after the show. You can watch us talk about the stuff
Yeah.
we just watched.
Ever since he did his nasty business, there's a power vacuum.
Yep. So you can join us right after the show at on nerdigo.com to watch us talk there. And of course, like I said,
We'll have opinions.
Breaking down comics. We'll have 28 Years Later review coming later this month once we've all seen the picture. All that stuff happening in January. Subscribe on YouTube or at nerdigo.com to make sure you don't miss any of it. All right. Now let's talk about our pop culture recommendations. These are things we've been watching, reading, eating, playing, or listening to that we've enjoyed lately, and we think you'll enjoy too. And this week, I thought I'd start with Bruno.
I have a void that I need to fill because I have finally finished Stranger Things.
For now.
For now. Because there was definitely left a lot of it was definitely one of those open for interpretation endings, which I genuinely prefer, contrary to most people, that would leave the door open 3 inches for a return to form maybe 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line if they want to. But aside from that, I think it was really, really good wrap up to the show. There was definitely a couple little speed bumps here and there when it comes to just the writing itself that was just very apparent of the Duffers themselves being a little bit rushed and pushed into a corner. But aside from that, I think it was really good. They had 2 specific wrap-up scenes in the finale for specific groups of characters that was really touching for me as a viewer, having watched all these characters for like the past 9 years. So yeah, if you guys have ever watched Stranger Things, and if it was one of those things that you guys at one point considered one of your favorites, I suggest going back down that road and just seeing how they wrapped up things, because in my opinion, it was really good.
I do want to watch the ending. It seems so silly for me to not finish it at this point, but I haven't gotten around to it yet. But I'm glad to hear that, Bruno, because I felt like I saw just a lot of negative reactions online.
I mean, I could get on a soapbox about how that incident.
We could start a whole website about that, couldn't we?
Ruined all of movies today, but oh well.
Start a whole thing about how that's not what we're going to be doing. Deepak, what you got?
What did I watch recently? Paper Moon, Criterion Edition. Hadn't seen it before. Good movie. Also watched The Lost Bus, which is the Matthew McConaughey, Paul Greengrass movie on Apple TV from last year.
Do you want to talk about your mission for the year?
Yeah, both of those fall under my 2026 mission of no rewatches. So everything I watched this year has to be something I've not watched before. So those are the first 2 for the year. Paper Moon was good. Lost Bus was not. I also resumed reading, not The Martian. What's it called? Project Hail Mary, which I'd put aside for a little bit, but I'm back on it now. So I got a lot going on. Things are crazy right now.
Very good. Jackson?
Yeah, over the last week, I participated in a archipelago async that was between a huge number of people. There were a few hundred games involved. For anyone who doesn't know, Archipelago is a standalone tool or framework. It's a little hard to describe. That's designed to randomize different games together so that you and your friends can all play through these games in a new and unique way while also working on a thing together. I've played one with Riley. Me and Bruno have started one before. They were very fun, and this was my first time doing one with a huge number of people. Like I said, there were, I think, 250 games involved in this one, but it was a lot of fun. And I do think I want to bring more of it to the website to show it off.
Oh, we'll definitely be doing some of it this year, for sure. We at the very least need to do our Mario Brothers mix 'em up.
Yeah. Absolutely. So keep a lookout for more on that as we experiment more with it. But it's a good time. If it sounds interesting to you and you haven't heard about it yet, I definitely recommend looking it up.
I am, at least theoretically, going to be spending most of the year reading Tolkien stuff. Trying to do it all this year, just tip to tail. And I'm sort of going to be, well, first of all, I'll be recapping it on the website. So nerdigo.com, my year of Tolkien. I'll be doing various sort of journal entries and stuff as I feel moved during that project. I also got the And I just mentioned this because I still think this is really the best option available for you on the market if you ever want to invest money in a nice set of Tolkien books. I got the $75 Hobbit, which is pricey. That's a lot for a book. I got it because I'm doing this whole project and it's important to me. But it's illustrated by the author. I only mention it because there is another version that usually goes for like 150 retail. That I think is a complete waste of your money. I think everything you want is in that $75 version that has some really nice glossy illustrations done by Tolkien and some good footnotes and context by his son in there that's worth reading. But that's not my recommendation. That's just a mention if you're the kind of person that likes to get your hands on physical media, because my recommendation is that y'all check in on what Andy Serkis is getting up to on the Hobbit audiobook. Now, to be clear, my man has done the Hobbit audiobook, Lord of the Rings audiobook, and the Silmarillion audiobook. But in Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, he just turns that Gollum shit on, man. It just like a switch in his head. And he's like right in Gollum doing the character. There's a really exciting video circulating on social media you can see of him recording kind of the famous sequence from Two Towers where he's like arguing with himself. And watching him kind of go into character on that was really great. Just listening to him read Riddles in the Dark as I was driving back from traveling over the holidays was so just like, oh yeah, it was a perfect encapsulation of everything that this guy can do really well. He's a storyteller who uses non-traditional mediums to get at something sort of at the base of your cerebellum that makes your spine tingle. He does it very well here too, not just even in the Gollum role. Obviously he reads the whole book and he does it very nicely. So the Andy Serkis audiobooks of all the Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, Silmarillion trilogy, I think very good and worth checking out. All right, this has been Nerdigo News. Thank you so much for listening. Remember, you can watch us too. Check out our beautiful faces on YouTube at youtube.com/@NerdigoMedia or on our website, nerdigo.com. Thank you to Purple Planet for our intro music. Thank you to Bruno Meneses for editing and producing this show. And thank you to you, the listener, for all you do to support us. Make sure you tune in next week to hear